Usually there's class in the morning from Srimad Bhagavatam, what we learn from Vyasadeva and Shukadeva and Rishabdeva and all the acharyas with their commentaries and Srila Prabhupada. This morning I'm going to speak about what I learned from Elton John, who is not at all in the category of any of the personalities just mentioned, who, anyway, I don't talk about his character because we don't want to pollute the assembly here. But as we learn from Srila Prabhupada, quoting from Chanakya, that one can take gold from a filthy place, one can learn even from a fool. What happened? Power finished? Well, there's nothing I can do about it. So, we'll just have to go on with it. What's going to have to be, isn't it? There's this other thing, is there also? So what did I learn from Elton John? Did Elton John come and teach me something? No, he didn't. He probably would be as little interested to see me as I am to see him. However, as we reached the top of the hill where this walkway is, on our little japa walk this morning, I saw a poster for concerts that have taken place, or just leave it inside. Just leave it. Let me have this. I didn't check to see the dates because I'm not interested to go to the concert, but advertised were concerts by various artists, among whom two were names known to me. One was B.B. King and the other was Elton John. I think Elton John is very famous. Maybe the Tamil devotees haven't heard of him, and no loss if you never heard of him. You don't have that contamination. And the Tamils, well, I don't know about the Sri Lankan Tamils, but at least the Indian Tamils, they all know the name of Rajinikanth. The Sri Lankan Tamils also know. By the laughter, we can understand. So, these people that their names I mentioned, they're not as big as Rajinikanth is in the Tamil world, but they're famous musicians. I think B.B. King is just a singer, and Elton John is a singer, and he also plays some kind of musical instrument. So what did I learn from them? Well, they're giving concerts in Zurich, which suggests that they travel around also, because neither of them are from Switzerland. And B.B. King, I would guess he must be over 70 and maybe over 80 years old. And he's still traveling around and giving concerts. And Elton John must be over 60, quite possibly over 70 years old. And he's still traveling around and giving concerts. So what did I learn from that? Well, there are various things you could learn from it. One thing is that they're going on in their old age giving concerts, and probably they don't need the money, although for a materialist they always need money, however much they have. They go on earning more and more, and then they stick it in a bank in Switzerland, which is stupid, they work so hard to make so much money, and then they just stick it in a bank in Switzerland. And so you could say the Swiss are quite intelligent now, they just take everyone's money. So, but they're stupid also, because they don't have to spend it. They should spend it for Krishna. Anyway, I don't think it's just for the money, it's just that we can presume that they love to make their music, even though I'm quite sure I wouldn't want to hear it. I don't even want to listen to it to find out what it's like. But I definitely don't want to hear it. But many other people want to hear it, and they take pleasure in hearing and chanting about topics not connected to Krishna. But anyway, the music and the performance is their life, and they go on doing that. They don't retire. So, we can learn from this, as actually we learn from Srila Prabhupada, who's a much better teacher. But we can also learn from materialistic people that to keep on going. Don't retire. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, he said that those who are preaching, they can later retire in Mayapur or Vrindavan. But he himself gave set the example of retiring only when he was physically forced to do so, although he's not forced by the laws of material nature, but it appears like that. And even then, Srila Prabhupada, in a condition which no one else would consider doing so, he went for a visit to the West. So, just like these musicians, their life is making music, having concerts. I guess they get a buzz from the appreciation also of the audience. So that's a big intoxicant, being appreciated. And a preacher has to be careful of that also, to preacher of Krishna consciousness, to deliver Krishna consciousness without any personal motivation, including that of being appreciated by others. So that lesson is there, that to keep on pushing, to keep on going. If they can do it for their sense gratification, then devotees should do it for Krishna's sense gratification. Which reminds me of another anecdote which I heard. This is going back more than 35 years. From a devotee in Germany who on a cold, rainy winter day thought, let's not go on book distribution today. It's, no one's going to be out. It's so cold and rainy, and it's such a miserable condition out there. No one's going to be there, so I should just stay in also, take a break. And then he heard, this must be early in the morning, because they start work early in the morning in Germany, right? Prabhupada noted that also. And it was some workmen drilling the road in the cold and the rain. So he thought, well, if they can do it for sense gratification, I can do it for Krishna. And he went out. So in the same way, if these Shvavidvara Hostra Karai, these dogs, hogs, camels and asses, can do this for sense gratification, then we should do it for Krishna. So that's what I learned from Elton John and B.B. King. And I didn't recognize the names of anyone else there, not that I looked that carefully. There was someone there also by James Morrison, but I think he must be bluffing. Anyway, let's not talk about these nonsense people. Let's talk about Krishna. So I'll go on with another one more. I won't speak very long this morning. I plan on speaking a little longer this evening. So,
one question in connection with the previous lecture, that you said that we should not retire, we should go on. My question is, that is correct. That is
we should not retire.
Yeah, but at the same time, older generation should give some space.
The older generation should give some space. Retire, yeah.
So, please.
Retire means administratively, yeah, can retire, but in terms of preaching, don't have to. I retired from management at the age of, how old was I then? It must be, well, it's about 30. After a not very momentous career in management, I thought, well, if I don't do it, someone else will do it. But I didn't retire from activity. So, can go on preaching. To be active doesn't mean that you crush everyone else and squash them out.
Even in preaching there is some domination over the zone or something.
Domination over the zone, not giving others a chance. Yeah, well, the preaching field is always expanding, so should be. So there's always plenty of room. I guess if I wasn't here, you'd have more chance to give lectures. So, well, I can send you out. If you don't want to hear all the time, well, you can go out and speak. Find some place, find some people. Yeah, so. Yeah, it may be that the devotees, like if the senior preachers or whatever you want to call them, they're old and they're still preaching, and then there are other preachers. There may be devotees who are preaching who are very competent to do so, even at an early age. They may be more competent in some ways than those who are older. So, yeah, they should be encouraged and let them go out and do it. That sometimes happens because of seniority, that those who are given a chance to speak are maybe not so empowered in doing so as those who are junior in terms of age and seniority. That may be there also. But like I say, it's a big world. So, if those who are capable of preaching, then they're not getting the field to do so, then they can go somewhere else. Right now we're not suffering from having too many preachers. We're suffering from lack of preachers. So we're looking forward to that day when there are so many preachers of Krishna consciousness that we have to find some dog or chicken to preach to, because all the humans are being preached to already. But we're a long way from that right now, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.